favorite here at the Rockin' Barrel, everybody's uncle, not the one that touched you, Uncle Rocky!
Ian, see me after. I'm going to sell you an extended home and car warranty. I think you're going to need it. So, did you know that cupping your balls with your right hand and stroking with your left hand is the masturbatory equivalent of this? Mo's got a call back for that. So, I wasn't always Uncle Rocky with the cane. I used to be known as The Rock before there was The Rock. And I was known for that for a multitude of reasons. I want to talk about being in your 20s today versus being in your 20s in the 70s when I was in my 20s. There's lots of differences. So, strip clubs. Back then, you'd put $1 in a G-string and you were a hero. Carson talks about picking up $1 bill in a strip club, sniffing it, and keeping it for all posterity. Carson, that dollar in my day would have made you a hero. We went to strip clubs, we smoked cigars, we drank hard liquor, we enjoyed ourselves. Nowadays, it's going to the kava bar, smoking blueberry vapes, and drinking chai lattes. Sometimes cold. And today guys sit around the kava bar and they talk about their feelings. We didn't have any fucking feelings. We were just miserable. Anyway, I drove a Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. I don't know if you know what that is, but like today it'd be a little bit bigger than a modern limousine. It had a 24-gallon tank, but gas was 65 cents a gallon, like, $15 I filled up for the week. It was all pimped out, had the spoke wheels, the nice white wall tires. Today, you gotta plug your car in before you could go anywhere. God forbid you go out to start the car and the electricity isn't full. You're stuck at home for another hour and a half, 2 hours just to get 3 miles. It sucks. I'm grateful we didn't have cell phones with cameras. Literally everything we did would have led to an indictment. We were incredibly lucky too. Drinking a lot, smoking a lot of pot, snorting coke, taking Quaaludes. Driving home was an adventure, but never got a DUI. We had friends on the force. They pull me over, they say, Rock, just follow us home so we make sure you get there. There were no selfies. There were no texts. There was no gluten. Celiac disease didn't exist. There was no ADHD. There were only 3-day hangovers. We used landlines. Do you know what a landline is? It's a phone with a tail. There was no cable or satellite. We had those rabbit ear antennas. You remember those? And your old man would tell you, stand next to the TV and move the rabbit ears so the game would come in clear. I'm surprised I didn't go work for a cable company after when I grew up. Even STDs were different, right? We had the basics. You go to the doctor, you take a look, he give you a shot, wash, shampoo, repeat. No big deal. Now there's monkeypox. What the fuck is monkeypox? I remember as a kid we were going out to Long Island and we were going to a club, right? So we pull over on the side of the road. There were 3 girls stuck there. They couldn't get in the trunk. There was something like this. So we helped them out. My friends decide that they're going to start mooning traffic. We ended up at the state police station in Mineola. That was a fun night. And how about pubic hair? There's no more pubic hair. I remember you had to be very determined to muff dive. There was a whole process and a certain technique. Allow me to show you. We Because you had to get the hairs out of the way so you wouldn't choke. I used to call it puff and lick, sometimes scratch and sniff. Could you even call it a muff now? There's sort of like a little tuft of hair, maybe a half dozen, and they just blow in the breeze. I miss pubic hair. And we had our own distinct communication style in Brooklyn. It was combined with the Brooklyn accent and our Italian heritage. So you would hear things like, hey, give me 3 gabagool sandwiches. I want mozzarella on that. And I'll have the pasta fazool. Now, you guys are planning the next outing to the Kava Bar, I know. I'm just retired and I'm waiting to die peacefully. And it was a much better time for toxic masculinity in the 70s. Go fuck yourselves. Thank you. I'm Uncle Rocky. Have a great night.